Okay, so we're talking about domains of functions, and we were just getting ready to look at this one here, this h of x. Again, this is from chapter 2 in our investigations in algebra book. And what's happening here? Well, it says here if x equals 0, we're going to return a 4. Otherwise, we have this recursive call here, right? And we call h of x minus 1 and add 3 to it. So let's just do like a normal working example just to see how it works, and then we'll think about what could make it break. Okay, so I'm going to hit visualize execution. And yeah, this is the pythontutor.com development environment, which is nice because it's going to let us see step by step kind of what's happening here. So I'm going to hit forward, and basically the first thing that happens is we define this function. Okay, so this and so h becomes a global variable that points to this function h of x. All right, so now that this is defined, now we can use it, and that's what we're going to do in our next line. So this is the next line to execute here, this print h of 2. Okay, so we're going to go forward. So now what's going to happen when I click on this, it's going to read this h of 2 and say, oh, okay, I know how to do that. I'm going to have to go back to my definition and kind of step through. Okay, so it's going to set x equal to 2, and then we're going to start working through this function. So let's see. So we go forward. So our x value has been bound to the number 2. Okay, so now in this copy of the function, x is equal to 2. Okay, so basically, yeah, we created a copy right here of h, and we have x equal to 2. So let's go forward now. Now, if x equals 2, so this red line points to the next line to be executed. If x is 0, then we return 4. Well, at this point, x is 2, so we're not going to return 4. We're going to go down to this. We're going to skip over that return 4 and go down to this line. And this line says return h of x minus 1. Well, every time we get a call to h, so down here we had a call to h, and that said make a copy of the h function and give it a 2. Every time we see this a call to h, it's going to make another copy. So we're going to pop another copy of h down here, and it's going to, instead of being bound to 2, since 2 minus 1 equals 1, this one's going to be, we're actually calling h of 1 down here. So we're going to step, and now we're in h again. We're starting at the beginning of h again, but with x equal to 1. Okay, so we go forward. X was, 1 is not equal to 0, so we go down here again. Now, in this copy of h, x is 1. So we're going to do 1 minus 1. Now notice this other copy with x equal to 2 is still floating around. It's still here, right? It hasn't gone anywhere because we didn't come back yet from this one. We still haven't returned our value. So in other words, when we were here, we were saying, okay, return this value, and then I'm going to add 3 to it. Well, we're still waiting to get the value back from this guy so we can add 3 to it. But this guy, this h of 1, can't return his value until he gets a value back from h of 0, because now 1 minus 1 is 0. So we're going to step ahead, and now we've started back up again with x being 0. Okay, so every time we subtract 1, whatever value we get when we subtract 1, that's what this x becomes. Okay, so notice these are different x's, right, in these different copies each time. So because we're working with a copy of the entire function. So in this copy of h, x is 0. Okay, so now when we go if x equals 0, we are going to finally be able to return something here. We can return 4. So we go forward. We return 4. So that's the return value. And now we can take that 4 and add it to 3. And that'll return a value back up to this guy. So let's see what that looks like. So we go forward. So for the 4 plus the 3 gave us a 7. So that returned the 7. So now so we're returning a 7. We're going to return a 7 back up to this copy that had x equal to 2. So here we go there. And that gives us 7 plus 3 gives us 10. So now the return value from this copy is going to be 10. We go forward. And we print out h of 2, which is 10. Okay? So that's a version that that works, right? So 2 is in the domain because that gave us back a value. But there are a couple of classes of numbers that won't work, and we're going to take a look at those in the next video.